Hello, and today we are talking about all things geeky.
Yeah, anyway, so then episode 7. Episode 7.
The Believer.
Or The
Wait.
Believer.
The Believer. Ooh, Justin Bieber's. No, it's not this one.
Not in this one, he was in the other one.
It was your.
He's playing Boba Fett.
Yeah, I thought this was.
The Believer.
It was much.
Why is it called The Believer?
I mean, yes, I was curious why it was called Believer, but I was like, this felt much better than the other episodes.
This was
It
so much
action
better.
Yeah,
and
this-
possibly my favourite episode of the season.
Yeah, I would argue probably my favourite episode of the second half, at least. Just about beating out the Jedi. Maybe my favourite of the whole season.
It's a hard one
Agreeably.
because I'm very much like episode 3, Bo-Katan's reveal.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, the Siege. Yeah, the Siege.
That just had some really good visuals. It was just so
Chef's kiss.
lovely.
Yeah, no, for me it's this
And that
one,
first
then
scene
that
out of
one.
Mandalorian. Yeah, I think the thing that maybe corrupts this one, taints this one.
No, don't say. Yeah, let's start with the struggle.
This isn't a thing. As the thing, it doesn't feel like a penultimate episode. For
No,
me.
that's
It
true.
doesn't fit into
So
the
I
idea of
think
being, like,
as much as I
second
loved
to
it, if
last.
this was like earlier on or fifth way, like the 5th episode, I'd be like, yeah, this is great. But like when you go, this is the 7th episode.
We only have one more
And
after this.
yeah, one more. It's like, what?
How's this going to work?
Yeah.
But it's a good episode. The premise is the child has just been taken, as we've covered. Moff Gideon has him, and they gotta find out where. So the only person he knows, which actually revealed at the end of the episode, they go to now New Republic Marshal Cara Dune and ask her to go through the
She accepted that
database.
shiny badge.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
sort of left that hanging and then she's immediately taken it, I guess. And yeah, they go through a database for Mayfield, who is from the last season's prison episode, played by Bill Burr, the guy who notoriously hates Star Wars. And yeah, at first it seemed like a random, like I don't know why they were sort of bringing that back as a character thing, and then I guess they've given him some backstory.
Well, he was
where
an
he's
ex-Imperial, and it's just because of that, it seems that he has the codes or he knows how to get
understanding.
Yeah.
of how it
the
works.
into her computer workings and logs of
Yeah, and we
the Empire.
yeah, so they're going to go get some information from some terminal which only exists in Empire territory on the whereabouts of
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
And what was really nice is they go to the scrap planet,
Where
which
he's a
was just
prison slave.
prison slave encampment, community service, and they're
Republic-
breaking
the Republic are just as bad, guys.
because it looks horrendous
Slave
there, and
labour.
they are just scrapping old Imperial TIE fighters,
which I
and
was
Filled with their dead
feature. I
bodies.
was like, that's nice.
which was cool. I really enjoyed
It was
that.
cool.
It's some really nice, and apparently they used
Repurposing,
models.
recycling.
They used actual models for some of that sort of stuff.
That's cool. That's not surprising because I feel like it looks at least like a lot of their stuff, like ship wise and stuff,
Yeah.
were models, which really appreciate.
Yeah.
You know,
It looked
from
real.
the originals, Rogue One sort of did the same thing. It just works
It
great.
works, yeah.
Touch it up with a bit of CGI. It's just the
Recipe
Star Wars
for awesomeness.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like anyway, like seeing these giant models, ships. And yeah, it's cool. You get more sort of repurposed AT-AT carrier crane
craft.
And
machines.
there's like a K2SO type.
Well, yeah, it's the same
droid.
droid from again that same prison episode that Bill Burr was in the first season.
Yeah.
Because when they're first walking up, I was like, oh, cool, K2SO, like repurposed
Yeah.
K2SOs. And then it was like, oh no, it's the same
Prison droid.
They just, I guess, were K2SO bodies.
Yeah.
For the New Republic.
heads.
And they take the Marshal and Mando take Mayfield.
Yeah, she very
Off-planet.
easily, as a new marshal for the
Yeah.
Republic, comes in and goes, I'm taking this prisoner.
I've got authority here.
Suicide Squad. This was Star
Suicide
Wars,
Squad.
Disney Star Wars Suicide Squad.
Yeah, completely. But they only have one member of the Suicide Squad.
Doesn't even die. Spoiler. Or commit suicide.
So then they head to the planet.
Do
Fucking
they name it? Typhon?
Morak.
Is that what? Morak.
Planet Morak.
Morag.
Where there's an imperial
It's like a
secret
granny's name.
imperial base mining Rhydonian. Raw Rhydonian. Highly
Was
versatile.
this a new thing? I
don't know. I've recognised the name.
I feel like it was mentioned in Rebels, apparently.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, I feel like it was mentioned before.
Again, it's another Imperial base that is mining resources.
They're popping up everywhere.
For the Empire. Because they're back.
Yeah.
They're back.
They're back. Yep.
They're back. Who?
Yep.
The Empire. Yep, cool. And I quite enjoyed that. They go to the planet. It's a jungle planet.
It was
the locals wearing colourful attire.
Planet. It felt different to other things, but still Star Wars enough.
All of a sudden Star Wars has expanded a little bit.
I feel like we're not quite... We're missing more planets like Felucia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Felucia from the prequels was a great Star Wars planet. And I just don't feel like this, again, shitting on sequels. They just haven't really reached that height again of being like, why don't you go crazy with it? These are alien planets.
Yeah.
Like, even Coruscant, which is a planet which is just such a
iconic planet because it's city.
Like, or Naboo was great. Like,
again, I think
waterfall planet.
That is one of the issues that I have with the Mandalorian, which we'll get to at the end. But and Disney in total, they're not expanding on the universe. They're not showing new places. It's constantly going back to the same places.
Yeah.
And they pretty much end the season doing that as well, which I just... But I'll get to my quarrels with it, for sure, for my summary.
Morak felt new enough. Yeah. Like, it was cool. It felt familiar because obviously it's Earth. But, as we know, it's like your typical sort of... I think it fit the vibe. Like, I feel like if you played like a COD game where you're infiltrating a base, it's very much the element of like, take over their trucks and get inside and pretend to be them and then kill them from the inside.
Which brings
it was
the
cool.
great design of the tank trooper from Rogue One.
I'm so glad we got to see Rogue One referenced in the Shore Troopers and Assault Troopers. Yeah, they got a slightly different colouring on the tank troopers.
Yeah, it looked great.
Oh yeah, the armour's different.
Yeah,
I think the armour's quite different because they don't have as much of the body plate.
What they have is they have more of like a snow trooper type chest piece.
Yeah, it's bulkier.
But then they have like the scarf / normal
shoulder
tank
pads.
Trooper backpack and bits, and
and then that helmet is
I just feel like
design.
they've done a really good job of like taking bits, repurposing
I like
them to expand the trooper library.
Yeah, we didn't cover before. I like when they're sort of planning how they're getting into the base. They're realizing that they're like going through, and they're like, these are the ISB, which is like basically the Imperial Secret Service. I can't remember the exact Imperial Special
Bureau,
something
Service
like that.
Bureau. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, they're like the secret thing. It's like, well, can't be Cara Dune. She's listed on the New Republic records as a shop dropper.
Yeah, she'll be recognised straight away.
Dropper, whatever.
Planet dropper.
Yeah. Parachute.
ODST.
Paratrooper, basically.
Yeah, ODST.
And then it's like, Fennec's like, I'm wanted by the ISB. And then you get Boba where he's just like, I think they might recognise.
Let's just say they'll recognise my face.
Such
a great line.
It's
so good.
I love references of Boba being a clone.
That's when it's done right.
The clone army existing and
it was so small, but it does just tickle me a bit. And then they do a
but also
typical
his armour's been repainted, which is
actually,
a nice little detail.
I wasn't necessarily too fond of it. I felt like it was a bit too clean.
It did look too clean. But
I just wanted a little bit more.
The thing is, I like it because you look at his armour, it was like it's in the originals it's worn from years of work. In this it was basically stripped. It was like someone put a paint stripper on it after going through the Sarlacc and the
sands of
fucking
Tatooine.
Dragon, whatever else, Crate
Dragon and Jawa.
So it's like, it makes sense.
Garage.
I personally appreciated seeing like the fresh coat of paint on it.
Look, I wanted a montage of him spraying it up.
He leaves Christian Bale. I guess he leaves like paint in his bloody slave one lying around. He's just.
He didn't have time to paint his ship apparently, because it seems to have had that paint stripped off of it as well.
But yeah, he's got new armor. He mentioned that it's cool, and then they go in. They do the typical Incredibles
heist.
Infiltrating the base. It does remind me of the Incredibles actually when they're going in Syndrome's Island, and they break in.
And I just love the sort of moral quandary as such for the Mandalorian,
taking his helmet
being
off.
like, where does his philosophy begin and end? This sort of episode is all about him
which
questioning that
Mayfield,
because Mayfield
Bill
brings
Burr's
it up.
character is very much, and I like that
He
because again,
fixates on that,
it
doesn't
plays,
he? He won't let that
it
little...
plays later on into the episode how like, you know, you sort of originally you see Mayfield and he's just this crook, and then you know him as ex-Empire, and then you sort of get this deeper personal connection and backstory to him.
He's got his own
which
moral
plays
code.
again further into this deeper, wider universe lore of Star Wars, which is something they need to really dig in deeper.
The morally grey aspects of it.
Yeah, and not in the Last Jedi way where they're like, hey, they make TIE fighters, they make X-Wings.
They all buy
that was
from the
Benicio del
same
Toro's,
supplier.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't
Okay.
entirely
And then
make
here's the
sense.
scene where Empire are making their own ships.
And they've been able to get away with existing in this
Benicio del
universe.
Toro's
So
stunner.
who knows?
My name's DJ, spin that shit.
Rewind, I can hack anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they touch on that moral quandary.
Yeah,
Is it?
his
And
Mando's
yeah, they
dogma.
really get into that, which is cool. And yeah, they start off with
What does it mean
But yeah,
to be a
before that,
Mandalorian?
we see their journey, the struggles of the Empire, moving this raw Rhydonian through hostile territory, I guess, of the planet the planet they've enslaved, where again Mayfield's very much like, you see these people, they don't care if it's Empire or Republic, they're
It's
just
all the same.
people on their planet. It's very like, you know, anti
the idea
But a
of-
key detail,
colonial Empire.
a key detail to that village though is they're all human,
Yeah, I didn't like that.
which
It was
Especially
fine
it's fine.
until
Later
we
on.
get the ships are blowing up. That's cool.
Which is-
You're
once
hearing
again,
over
the
the
It
transports.
felt very Vietnam War.
Yeah.
whereas
It was
again,
such a great
forwards.
exactly
build up of
jungle
tension.
planet going through there, and
You
you're
kidding
seeing
me?
these things exploding. You're hearing on the radio like, "Oh, you're coming in too hot." At first, I thought they were like, "Oh, the path is so treacherous and the
Yeah.
things." So
They're all crap drivers.
well, yeah, you know, you're going through and it's like, oh, it's so unstable that you have to literally drive well, and yeah, they pass through that. But then it's revealed, no, there are pirates.
Pirate.
quotations,
Yeah, air quotes.
air quotes.
Because they're not trying to steal anything, they're just trying to blow them up. So they're more like
Rebels.
Yeah.
But then, bring that back to the point we were just saying, the humans, the you know,
Village that
natives
they
on
go
this
through.
planet, the village that they don't care who it is, there's just someone on their planet, aren't the same aliens.
Yeah, they're humans. These guys are clearly aliens. And they're riding these awesome land skiffs.
Yeah.
They look great. I love the design of them, but it just didn't make sense because why would pirates be trying
I'm
to
sure
blow
they're
up?
aliens we've
Yeah.
seen before.
Maybe, but why would they try and blow up the transports? Surely pirates are self-serving and would want the Rhydonian for themselves.
As rebels, it makes sense.
Yeah.
As a thing
Enslaved
of like,
planet.
they're on our planet, we just want to get the
stand by
Empire
the
off.
fact that they are rebels, but the guy obviously calls
Thinks
them
they're pirates.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that he's ex-Empire.
But
No,
then they're a
I-
completely
I-
different race to the
but
beings
I
in the
know,
village.
But that's the thing. I agree that I think the implication is that they are actually just rebellious natives of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
planet. I think it was just a mistake
Well-
or an oversight on.
Haha. Ha ha ha.
Oh,
I've
you
got a
got-
point to this.
You got me.
Because in Solo, obviously they're trying to steal the crystals
Yeah.
from the transport train.
Yeah, yeah.
And as they're doing that, Beckett is like, oh, you know, they're pirates. They're talking about, I forget the name of the guy.
Well, it's not a guy.
Well,
first
yeah,
of
it's
all.
not a guy.
No,
But he calls them pirates, but they're not, because in the very end, it's
They're
revealed,
rebels.
oh, they're rebels, they're fighting for a rebellion. So I just think it's that thing of being like, well, depending on how you view them,
Your perspective.
your perspective, in his case, his ex-empire, he would have been trained probably doing these things previously to think of them as just pirates.
Yeah.
And
I
not think
agree. I
about
still
that.
think it's an
Maybe they're
oversight
rebels.
because in Han Solo, at the end, it's revealed. Oh, you thought they were pirates? They were the rebels.
Yeah.
They're the good guys all along. In this, all you're left with is this village of people on the planet don't care if you're Empire or thing. These people who are entirely different aliens are pirates, and they're just trying to blow it up.
Yeah.
So I still think there's an oversight.
It's just disjointed.
Direction. And
No, I agree.
writing.
I think they would have fixed it had they just included those aliens.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
in the village.
Or
The
even
thing
just a
is,
hint of
I
them.
don't
you know?
think-
Or mix up the
I don't
aliens on
think-
the skiffs, the pirates,
Yeah.
with some human
That's the thing.
characters.
That's the
I think
thing.
one of
You
the
need
things they're
that.
missing is like it doesn't need to be a village of just humans or just
Aliens.
aliens, which
No.
again is a weird thing they seem to constantly kind of be doing. Like again, taking it back to the Jedi episode, that they're all just humans there. And again, when we talked about Navarro, when the school class was just all children,
But then you've
humans,
got the Mon
it's like,
Calamari
are
and
they
the
just
Khazar all being that one race
It's
on that
like,
planet.
are they just being lazy and not wanting to spend CGI / makeup budget, or are they
costumes?
Is
But
it
surely
just
you
an
can
oversight
recycle
where you're
costumes.
you're not realizing that maybe the universe should be more
Diverse.
diverse?
It's a big
in
universe.
Small, like, you know,
Galaxy.
It's a galaxy, galaxy. A big galaxy far, far away.
we don't know what's beyond the outer rim.
But again, that's what the originals do quite nicely in the prequels. They mix up. There is quite a wide range. But the sequels, I can't really remember them being so, especially when you see the Rebels.
That's it.
No,
Yeah.
Can't buy it. It's great. There's so many
Oh.
aliens.
And
okay, cool.
Very much in the Mando, we've seen a wider range of aliens. It's great, but it does seem that it's either one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
And it works. It's fine. It does its job, but it does
It's
do
just, it would have helped.
it makes
with
the
this
universe,
scene,
the
with
galaxy a
this
little bit smaller.
episode.
Yeah. It's like if they'd been like, this village of humans is the family of all the stormtroopers living there, and it's sort of like, you know, real life army bases, army families, they travel around, live on bases, etc., etc. It's like, if rather than being like, I guess you wouldn't want to travel any
All that way.
explosives through that area, but if you'd seen humans there, it's like, these are the families of the Empire soldiers here. It's like, okay, that makes sense, and then the pirates are that.
Yeah.
Because, it was just that disjointing level. Again, it's not a big deal.
No, it's
Because-
just something we
and
noticed.
It doesn't
you
real
get
because I did really like the
before
episode.
is
It
good,
was just
where it's
like
they're hopping onto the ship.
Oh, it was so well done as well.
Yeah.
it was well shot,
sort
much
of-
better shot than the
Yeah.
last.
Yeah,
And-
the way the camera.
Especially love how
I can't remember the director.
Din
Din
Djarin, when he's fighting hand-to-hand combat, well, first he shoots with his blaster, and then we see that
outside.
actually runs out. And then when he actually goes to hand-to-hand combat, he's fighting as if he's still in his Mando armor. He's so used to
tries
fighting
to
that
use
way
his
that he uses
pauldrons.
his arms and stuff to block, and the armor's so weak it
Gets
just
shattered.
fucking
Yeah, it's not
shatters.
best
And
skill.
he's getting beaten up. We're like, oh shit. And that was just cool, just to see that it's so ingrained, that training, that he moves.
Yeah.
Even later on, the way he addresses and talks to
lack of
people,
training.
his body
Yeah.
language still moves as if he's in the armor, and his head, because of the visor where his head turns, his body turns with it. It's just little details like that which really bring that episode
and I just
together.
also enjoyed the sort of like fatigue that you
Yeah.
see him going through with the episode as he's having the fight.
Yeah.
He's getting beat up, armor's breaking, he's like fucking taking a beating. He gets those guys off, he beats them, he stands up, there's more. And it's just
That
like,
was so good.
okay, round two.
I like to think after that he was
Then
like,
again.
I really should have learned how to fight and not just to
Yeah.
use my armor as.
Yeah.
And it is also a thing of like the guy obviously has to slow the car down because he knows that if he goes
All
too
these
Yeah,
elements
it was
working
good.
together.
See, again,
and it's like every time it slows down he's like, oh,
God.
shit, no, they're gonna catch up. I
Yeah.
gotta
You
fight
gotta speed
again.
up.
Gotta get up.
again, to shit on Last Jedi. That's how you do a chase scene.
Yeah.
You know, that's how, you know, it makes sense that, oh, it's got to slow down because this is going to blow up. You know, it was good. You know?
It works,
Yeah,
yeah.
it creates that
Tension,
pacing,
Tension,
that
gives
tension,
you the
yeah,
reasoning.
that
exactly.
understanding
Yeah.
of like there is a danger to slowing down. I know
It's just
Last
good
Jedi
storytelling.
but it's the thing of being like
Come at
they
us,
do
bro.
have to slow down,
Yeah.
and when that slowing down happens,
And they don't have time
it doesn't
fighters to
slow
slow
down
down.
the story. It causes action
Yeah,
to
because you're avoiding one danger to expose yourself to another danger.
yeah, and you can't just
It's
do
just that back and forth
yeah.
until it's resolved, which they get to the base, and that's when
Yeah.
we see the shore troopers come
Well,
out.
you get the
Stormtroopers,
TIE fighters
the TIE fighters
come
come
in,
through, do a strafing
epic
run.
You've
strafing
never
run.
been
Their
so happy
heroes
to
are
see
like,
the
yeah.
Empire.
Again, great line.
not made
But
for-
then we see them, the pirates again, which is why you bring the question why are pirates, because they jump off and storm this fortress. It's like that's a suicide mission.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
wielding
That-
grenades. Like they're not carrying guns. They're all holding
Yeah.
grenades. Like we're gonna die doing this. They
Yeah.
don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like
That was a
go
wee
for
bit
it.
stupid. It's like, surely you've done this before. You know,
Fight for
once
another
they
day.
reach the base, you just turn around and go, we'll blow up the next shipment. But I get again a choice of being like, we want to see this culminate into.
Yeah.
My only minor problem there is I don't think they noticed it when one of the characters is running with a thermal detonator, throws it, gets shot,
and
it bounces, it doesn't blow up. And I was expecting blow up to be at least like, oh, you lose a couple of
the front line
troopers, but like they've taken out.
I agree. I noticed that as well, and I was like.
So if someone can go in and edit that for me, then
that'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah, like they've taken out the back gaffer in the.
That's what we need.
Episode.
The Wallace edit of the episode, and the only thing that's different is that blows up.
That blows up.
And a couple of things.
Yeah, make it down corridor digital.
Cool.
But could you do it for us, please? But what that segues into is a scene, not a scene, but a site of the Empire that we haven't seen before. Where
it is one of the best.
They
things,
are
I
those
think, just
soldiers
in Star Wars in general,
that are
where
just
you get that inside.
Yeah, you get a
You've
look
only
at
really
them.
seen, I guess, in Solo when Han joins and you see him on the battlefield.
Yeah, but
also,
that's
actually,
it.
I got a minor problem with some of the troopers. The Scarif troopers, they're still wearing sandy colours.
They're in a
They
Give
could
them
have
the
been jungle colours, darker browns. Yeah, that could have
You
worked
realise
actually.
the other troopers are also just white.
White.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to Star Wars,
Look, they
troopers,
changed
Yeah,
the
there is no camouflage.
tank trooper colour armour and gave them a new chest piece, at least with the Scarif.
That's because they're only
troopers.
driving trucks. They're truck drivers. They ain't
Yeah.
tank troopers. But yeah, I'm never going to complain about armor.
No,
It's not a
the colour
massive
is
deal.
white.
I'm just like, yeah.
Well, this is Rise of Skywalker. Then why the fuck are they red? I'm joking. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
No.
that's so stupid.
That actually is their armour's really good. The Sith troopers, but
Makes no sense still.
what we see
Why
is
were they living underground
the
for
Empire
no reason?
cheering and actually how hard up they are against the world.
I mean,
at the moment.
clearly
And you
they've
don't
been
want to root
using-
for them.
I think it is funny
Transport
because I think they it's a
constantly.
sort of good choice where it's like it's that hyper camaraderie element of like army, typical Hollywood army, which isn't necessarily something that you can look up and be like. It's not immediately sympathetic, I'd say.
No.
It's just it is that level
It's
where you
just
get to
that
see
they
like
have a bond.
it's
They go through
Starship
these
Troopers, I guess,
Yeah.
is kind of what I'm trying to think. Where you're like, you know, there's something sort of sinister underlying, but you know, there's also the people who are like cheering and like, yeah, you survived. You're the only ones who made it through today, brother.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the rest of you died. Whatever. We're all fighting
We're
for
all
the
going to
great
be able to
cause.
vote
Yeah.
when we leave this military.
Exactly. So I do think there is that. It is. a
Yeah,
good
we've
number.
met our
It's-
quota
it's-
this
it
week.
Do
is
you want
a
to be a
good
citizen
insight
or
of,
do you
like,
just want to be a person?
Yeah, the brainwashing into the stormtrooper indoctrination, and you get it is more human. You get that like, oh, you did it, you made it through. You were the
Yeah,
peers on
the
us.
only one that did it. I mean, to be fair,
Some of us are really
imagine
dirty, and
seeing
some of
that
us are super
that
clean.
truck coming towards you, and it's just like this one tank trooper driver guy on top who's
Trying to
fist
fight,
fighting
yeah.
these people. You'd be like, man, that's fucking.
If anything,
dope.
he didn't get enough praise.
Yeah, they should have been hugging him and never let go.
Entirely loved by the whole empire.
He felt
Yeah, they're
so
in-
loved that he stopped
And
fighting.
then the whole reason they're in is to get Bill Burr to that station so he can reveal his,
Yeah, to the
show
terminal.
his face to the terminal and.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's just a
What
certain
this-
terminal for some reason. It's the only terminal in the galaxy
Scanning
that can get
situation is,
Moff Gideon.
'cause
I
It
don't
can
know.
scan
It's-
his face, but I can't.
Well, the
and
thing
it can
is,
scan
it sets it up as if
the Mandalorian.
someone who's part of the Empire, the Imperial side of things, has a database and they're logged in, so they have those codes, and it has to scan a face to recognise that they're an Imperial troop. Or
Well, I
that's
guess
what
they-
it felt like
they
it was set
have-
up for.
They
Yeah.
know if you're part of the New Republic database.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're putting
Which
a
is
switch
why
on
the
it, which
rest
makes
of them
sense. They
can.
can't do it
Yeah,
because
it's
they're
like-
seen.
Din Djarin isn't part of any New Republic
Race.
database,
Yeah.
so I guess he doesn't
He's
get
just a blank.
brought up.
Seems just a bit strange on an Imperial base that you wouldn't have it set up to log only Imperial faces,
Yeah.
but hey ho.
I guess maybe the idea is that there's so many they don't give a shit
Yeah.
about who you are, which kind of again plays later on in the
Yeah.
episode
It's
where it's like Mayfield's worried because even though the whole reason they're there, he arrives and he recognizes someone and
Yeah,
he's like,
his
he's going to
commander.
recognize me
Yeah.
because he was there on the most
This
important mission
battle.
of my life
Yeah.
and etc. etc. He was my commanding officer. He's going to know
I
who
can't
I
do
am.
this.
Yeah, I can't do this, which then leads to the moral conundrum that how far is Din
Yeah.
Djarin willing to
He's
go
already
to
changed
save
his
Grogu?
armor. Is he willing to now
Reveal his
expose
face.
his face against all his rules?
Surprise,
And it's quite a great
surprise.
episode.
He does. And it works.
Yeah. I felt like it was very sort of emotional.
It's a humanising moment in his
that
story.
Sort of thing of being like, he cares so much about Grogu.
That's the thing. That's the character development. That's
exactly.
Growth.
That's what I was going to say. That's all the character theory behind it. Because he is hidden by a mask, it is hard to identify with that character.
Yeah.
But as soon as you can see his face and how he emotes, and it's just like ingrained in us as humans, eye contact and stuff, you straight away connect with that character a lot more. So by doing that was great.
Within the
I look at your eyes all the time.
Within the season,
they're so beautiful.
It already set up that level where it's like we knew and understood Mandalorian to be the ancient traditional thing, and then it was revealed by Bo-Katan earlier on that actually he was just part of the subsect of the Death Watch.
Yeah. And the removal of the helmet is a motive that's been
culty and stuff.
continuous.
And it's not like a thing. It's just the indoctrination of his traditional element. He was raised, but now he's set out in the universe and he's experienced more. He's gone from being bounty hunter, only doing whatever's best for his clan, to now taking the foundling under his wing and fully trying to actually do whatever he can to save.
Playing a father role.
Yeah, exactly. Having his own foundling, becoming daddy.
Becoming daddy.
Daddy, Peter.
Daddy wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's a good moment. I think it's funny also that he tries to do it with his helmet on. It's like, that's not.
Come on, that's not the whole point.
Yeah. But it is also great because not only is it sort of emotional resonance of what he's doing, the accumulation of his sort of arc building, but also the tension of being like, he's got to take off his helmet and he's surrounded by Imperial officers and soldiers. And, immediately the guy's like, soldier.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? What's your TK number?
Played by the actor who played the Night King in Game of Thrones. I forgot his name, but that's
more importantly, Joe Chill in Batman.
Oh shit, he is Joe Chill.
He's only Night King in
that last season.
I thought it was before the season because I think he gets recasted.
Oh right.
So the guy who you eventually see.
Yeah, Joe Chill's probably the more worthy one to mention.
I know him more as Joe Chill.
Everyone knows how Game of Thrones went down the toilet.
What's Game of Thrones? That never existed.
So much so that the prequel series that they were going to do has been cancelled.
Yeah.
Damn, that's like some big backlash there, but that brings the tension because Mayfield, Bill Burr's character, has to come in to sort of diffuse the situation, thinking that it's going to go down. Yeah. And then straight away he's revealing himself, this guy that he thinks, this officer who thinks he's going to recognise him.
That's the thing. You're like, oh shit, is the Mandalorian going to have to react and just be like, I'm just going to shoot him? What is he going to say?
Yeah, he hasn't got a TK number.
Mayfield comes in and is like, oh, it's TK.
What's your destination? I driver
designation. Yeah.
TK designation.
Your TK number.
So we call him Brown Eyes.
Call him Brown Eyes. Good old Brown Eyes.
Yes. Shit eyes. That's what it's saying.
Poop face. Poop eye face.
No, I like that. That was a good moment.
Yeah, it had very sort of Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah, the tension
of like
very much
that.
So.
Yeah, basement conversation where it's like, oh,
but all the officer wants to do is get him a drink.
Accent
exactly. Drink. You're the only ones who made it. Let's drink and toast.
To your success.
But with that like sinister element of like, you can't deny me. You're a superior officer, and it's like,
and how much does
that
he
Inglorious Bastard? Because
it's like,
do you know? Do you not know?
Yeah.
And then sit down, have a drink.
We get Mayfield's history and his moral high ground. Not his moral high ground, but what's happened to him for him to go down the path he went.
Also, he name drops and references Operation Cinder, which I appreciated. Yeah. Which, as we talked about, was what they've mentioned in Battlefront 2 more specifically.
The campaign.
That's the campaign with Iden Verso, where the thing is, like, once the Empire falls, the Emperor just wanted everything to burn. Operation Cinder, destroy it all and kill as many and take down as many planets and then rebirth the Empire within, I guess. And
bit crazy idea, but hey,
extreme.
But it's the perfect sort of setup to like, his humanizing moment where he's just like, because again, this is the title's called The Believer, and people have said that they think the Believer is supposed to be the officer who's like, it's for the greater good of the Empire. They were all heroes, weren't they?
That makes sense.
They died for the Empire. It was great for it, and then he's like, was it great though? Was it great?
Because I was wrestling with the
true
title.
believer in the element of like the Empire, whatever you do.
Balance.
But again, also being that superior officer who doesn't have to be the one who dies. He just has to command others
He doesn't
to
have
die.
to watch it happen as
And
such.
yeah,
he
you
just-
get the brilliant Mayfield moments where he's like, yeah, great for who? My friends who are all dead, everyone I knew and,
Yeah.
you know...
What about the
grew up
innocent
and
people
trained
on that
with,
planet?
All
Yeah.
the innocents, the civilians who were just like completely blown, like 5,000 people died in an instant under your order
Yeah, I just
for no real reason.
love the way that conversation sort of
Yeah.
spirals down into that, like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, because
And it is
constantly
very
Din
classic.
Djarin's looking at him going,
Yeah,
no,
I
and
love,
he's,
I love
he's
that
just
as well. You just get
little
Din
hand,
just
little
like,
nod, like, it's okay, don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah.
All right. Is he gonna shoot? No, he's not gonna shoot him. Bang! He's
Pow.
shot. Holy shit! It is going down. That was great, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, and
chaos
then it kicks
erupts.
And
into
then
Yeah.
like your
It's
Nazi
just like-
balls.
And then it harks back to a little bit of a. I was hoping for a Naboo moment, Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
where they climb out the window and grapple hook up.
Pull her up. Yeah.
But then we've got that great
Nothing's gonna beat that.
snipers shooting through, protecting
Yeah.
them as they shoot their way out and climb up to the side of the building and the
think
roof.
Forget that.
I do think I
Mayfield
like
was
this
just
the
so
most
upset
pure
about
because
the
it kind
death of all
of
his-
hit that sort of Tarantino vibe for
Yeah.
me in regards to everything.
Mayfield being upset with the death of all his stormtrooper buddies, then just killing all
These
these
stormtroopers.
unnamed stormtroopers.
Well, he doesn't know him. He didn't serve him.
I
Not only
don't.
that-
I don't think that's anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a-
I
He's
think
also
it's a
he's-
human
yeah.
moment.
I
He's
think it's
twisted.
also the idea of being like, well, after Operation Cinder, he left.
Yeah.
And so anyone left is perhaps maybe more fanatical,
Yeah.
like the officer.
Yeah.
And therefore he
'Cause it's the
can
new
excuse
empire.
Yeah, he's
himself,
anti-empire
and he
now.
knows what this stuff's going to be used because the officer says it's can do Operation Cinder 10 times over and better and bigger. So he's kind of like, well, I gotta destroy this
Yeah.
because I saw what that did, and I can't have that happen again on my watch.
And yeah, I do like once they're out the window and there is. It feels like a very classical sort of like original trilogy. Guess Jabba's skiff
Yeah.
sort of thing where they're all kind of like pointing out the windows
Yeah.
trying to shoot, and they're just like kicking them and like knocking guns, and then they're trying to create the new Wilhelm scream, I guess, with all the like bodies who are dropping off and they're
Yeah.
like doing their own thing. And yeah, you get the cool sniping from Fennec and Cara
Cara
Dune. And yeah, they make their way to the top.
Slave
Running
One
up
comes
there.
in,
Yeah, they do the whole jump to the helicopter Slave One bit.
which leads to a
They're on
fantastic,
their way.
fantastic
Fan-
overkill moment, but it is worth
could
it.
have done more.
The seismic charge for just 2 TIE fighters.
Yeah.
I'd get it if it was 4 or 5 maybe, but 2
Minimum.
2 TIE fighters just dropping that charge. That was
To be
OTT
fair-
fan service, but it was worth
Yeah.
it.
At the same
Like-
time, was it? He used multiple to kill a single Jedi and a starfighter in an
Yeah,
asteroid
but
belt.
there was
which
a
is
that's-
already
tactical
hard.
that's an
reason for
asteroid
that.
belt,
It's an
yeah.
asteroid belt, and by shooting that, he's causing more of a debris field.
I know.
And
That
he's
makes
also
sense.
clearing any potential there for,
But
and he can't
Yeah.
see his enemy at that
exactly.
point. The
And
thing is,
again,
the Mayfield's combination of character, I guess, is him blowing up the base by shooting the raw Rhydodian. You would have thought they would have released maybe like more.
few more
There
dozen.
should have been more TIE fighters, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Because then you're like, oh shit, even though they've destroyed this base, how are they going to get away with it? Badass Boba Fett dropping the seismic charge just absolutely wipes out a whole fleet.
Oh, it's
of
got
them.
such a good
It
sound.
would have been so, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing. They were chef's keys.
Chef's keys.
But yeah, I would take it anyway.
I will take it.
I just thought it was two was like
because what I
two
found
bit
funny
overkill.
is late in the next episode, which we're going to move on to.
he has
It
no
clearly
problem taking
shows
out
him
two shooting
rotating those
backwards.
bottom guns, shooting backwards for 2 3
Yeah,
starfighters,
yeah.
TIE fighters.
Literally two as well.
Like,
Two's
what?
the only number of TIE fighters we're allowed to show
He
on
was like,
screen
well,
at any
he was
time.
like, well, I'm out of seismic charges,
Yeah.
so I guess I might as well shoot these guys.
Despite the fact that again on the monitor there is a seismic charge. I don't know if you noticed,
I didn't
but in the
notice that.
background
That's
they're
cool.
talking there's a seismic charge on display in the next episode. I was like, well,
Could
good, he's
also
got him
drop
there.
onto the whole ship.
Yeah, but maybe it wrecked too much.
I don't know. I think it would have been a
Yeah.
good time to use
It is
in
good.
that
I
episode.
just enjoy seeing it because again, since then you only get to play it in the Battlefront games, So for it to be brought into this and have that sound,
Just love coming
and
home.
shoot, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay.
I go to Star
Don't
Wars.
stop it.
I work on Star
I'm sorry,
Wars
it
and
was
then
good.
I'm gonna come
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
You don't know. You
And-
wind me up. You're never gonna let this go. If you're wondering what we're talking about, go watch our first episode of podcasting, and I bring up my experience
Is
in
that
Star
our first
Wars, and
episode?
it is the
Okay.
first episode, first and second episode. If
Best
not, just
episode.
check them all
Number
out.
one
Star
Wars
podcast.
episode.
By words of Star Wars, and they
Talk
rip into
about
me
it.
for a certain
Revealed it.
thing that I talked about, where I like to just come home and play Star Wars Battlefront and look at all the stuff.
Spend all day on Star Wars. And I get to come home and play Battlefront. I will. But yeah,
It makes sense.
at the end, they let Mayfield off.
So you know his character's going to be returning at some
He
point.
died in the.
I also
In the
like
fire, yeah.
Oh, he died in that mission. I guess he can go live with the villagers now, or maybe on find
Thing
his
is,
way
I like how
amongst
he looks at them for a second, like, are they gonna murder me now?
them. You're gonna shoot me in the back. I know. I like that. It does make
That was
sense.
good.
It's like,
Especially when they're
sorry.
Cara Dune's facing Mando. She's like, I'm not sitting. He's walked away. I can't see you walk away.
Yeah.
It's fine. I am free of any guilt or any part of this.
And the episode ends with Moff
Or
Gideon on his
perhaps,
ship.
Perhaps the believer is Cara Dune, and she now believes that he has been redeemed as a character.
I mean, maybe the
And has
believer
had
was
his change.
Mayfield. Who knows?
Damn.
But then it ends with Gideon on his ship, or Gideon's ship. They've now got the coordinates. Also, I want to say, actually, quickly, it's funny that anyone in the Empire, or not even in the Empire, as proven by Din Djarin, can walk up to an Empire terminal, log in, and find the whereabouts of one of the most highest ranking officials in the group. But yeah, they've got the coordinates to his ship, and they send him a tasty little message.
Well, the base that they go to is meant to be like one of these top secret bases, which the guy
Well, it's a
recommends to
secret
go
base,
to.
but
So maybe that's why it has
Secret
information
to the
on
New
that one.
Republic.
But Mayfield does say this, like, I just need an Empire terminal.
Yeah.
But because the Empire don't exist, there's this secret base which is probably still operating because it's the ISB. So they cover that.
Maybe he has a special. I don't know. I'm coming up with
I mean,
excuses for
maybe
him.
there is an element where it's like
Maybe
they're
it's
so
on that little code thing.
yeah, maybe they're so dispersed,
Yeah, spread out.
spread out. It's one. It's that again. It's I don't want to hate on it too much, but it's sort of that first order problem where it's like they've gone from being like the Empire no longer exists / what is the First Order to they're everywhere again.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of first season, great cool moment. You get fucking Moff Gideon reveal comes in, all these fresh ass troops and Death Troopers after all you knew as Scroungy, and this one we've just gone straight back into
They seem
they're
everywhere.
everywhere.
and
You can
control.
find bases no matter
Yeah.
where you are. Yada yada. But whatever, fine. I just thought it was funny that you can walk into any terminal and find
Yeah.
Moff Gideon, and yeah,
Send a little
Fucking-
message.
he calls him up.
Does
gives
a
him-
little taken.
He doesn't drop a "Your Mama" joke like Poe Dameron would, but he repeats almost line for line the "You haven't." He goes taken Liam Neeson on his
Yeah.
ass. Gets a Qui-Gon Jinn
You have no
vibes.
idea what
He's
you're
like,
in possession of.
Yeah.
I will find you
Yeah.
and I will kill you.
Which again, great. I like that he repeats it back to him. But
Yeah.
Bruce, all them a surprise. But that doesn't matter because then we
'Cause
find
it
out
works out.
episode 8, final episode, which was a badass episode. It did work well for me. Tapers off at the end, but
I
the
wonder what's
rescue.
gonna happen.
Yeah. How are they going to finish this off? How are they going to wrap it up? Because
Surely they can't be getting Baby Yoda back in this. Oh
no, I want a cliffhanger. I want it to be. Leave me wanting
Comes out at
more.
the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it starts off strong. They go to a new planet, I believe, to recruit Bo-Katan and Kuska Greaves. Not that guy who we said we were
Yeah,
the British guy.
yeah.
Whatever happened
He
to
just
him.
randomly their
Can't
squad
remember his name.
numbers dropped down from 3 to 2, and
Cost too much, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also they
Well,
were
it would
doing
have
it
been nice
for
to have death fodder.
yeah,
like-
exactly.
Yeah,
it could have
someone
been
who
one
can
of them
die.
killed because again, I don't mind. Later on,
Spoiler
it's
alert, none
they
of them
do
die.
the
It's also
girls
important
squad
It would have been handy
taking
if
it back
one of
as
them
well
had
later, which was
died,
cool.
during the attack.
It always ups the ante, ups the stakes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tells you that they can die.
Yeah, you need some form of peril where actually they're not invincible, because at the moment they seem to be.
Which I think maybe again Disney, Star Wars, Mandalorian might be just too afraid of right now to like just kill anyone off.
Well, it's a money-making machine at the moment, so
because every character could have its own spin-off series.
And as we said, we like that guy for no real reason.
Yeah.
I didn't like him up for any other reason that he was British, you know.
And he looked rough, rugged,
like,
Mandalorian.
But, you know, that's classic Star Wars rebel right there, where it's like, because they were just all shot in England, British extras, so it feels that element of Star Wars. But yeah, he was just on his own mission, I suppose, doing whatever.
Doing enough.
He's flying the ship that they
you get to
previously.
you get to see Bo-Katan's actual ship.
Yeah, which I thought that was the case, because again, you've only seen that ship in the animated series beforehand, so it was cool seeing it in the live action world that they're still using those. That was very sweet, and it was just awesome when Mando and Boba come in and they just look so good together.
Interaction there,
head up, and the dialogue's brilliant as well, because Bo-Katan says, you know, just pretty much hits Boba with the fact that he is a clone, but his dad is a donor. It's not his father when he's like, this is my father's armor.
She drops
so you mean like, a donor?
Not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, so you just picked up anyone. He's like, I never said I'm a Mandalorian. And you're like, oh. I've heard that voice. Yeah,
I'm a Mandalorian.
I'm Mandalorian. Yeah. But the fact that she goes, I've heard that voice so many times as well. It's brilliant. Just harks back to the Clone Wars.
Nice those nods.
Yeah, at the same time, it is the disrespect.
Yeah, total disrespect of him.
I'm like, how dare you?
Look what you did to my boy.
Because then the other guy's like,
Koska.
It is hilarious that she's like sidekick's supposed to talk, and it's like,
you're a sidekick, yeah.
And then I don't know exactly what he says, but he's like, oh, the mud scap calls the womp rat slimy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
You better be careful, little one. Oh, damn. But again,
although I was going to say,
I was
Bo-Katan technically older than Boba Fett? I guess.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, she would be.
Or she might be the young. Yeah, no, she would be.
She would be.
Django
because she's in Clone Wars series. She is older than Boba Fett as a child.
Yeah, so he's just had a really bad time.
I mean, yeah, he got you by Sarlacc. That's fine.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's Tamira Morrison. You got to have him. He looks great. I'm loving him in this.
Process is still slightly faster than normal persons.
Yeah, completely. But what took me as a surprise is the actress who played Koska said that she wouldn't be appearing in any more episodes of season 2.
Which I didn't know about.
There was an article that came out shortly after she did that third episode. So then she appeared, and I was like, damn, you were very good at lying. And they also kept something else under wraps as well.
Was there like, I will definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was nowhere to be found.
And then they took him out back and.
Tell me about the rabbits.
Straight back to Marvel Avengers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So,
they have a cool little fight scene.
Yeah, bar fight. Yeah, you get a little bar fight. You get the little. She's like, oh, if we've showed this, Bo-Katan's like, if we showed this much fight, we would have never lost Mandalore. You also get the nice sort of element of Boba Fett maybe leaning more on the Death Watch side, where he's like, Mandalore, the Empire turned that to glass.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like this element of like, what's happening?
What has happened to Mandalore?
Mandalore under the Empire rule, which I guess is the build up and whatever else. But yeah, that ultimately once, Mando pulls out his catch-all card and he's like, they got the child, and everyone's like, okay. Yeah, actually, I think she does pile it off, and he's like, Moff Gideon has it. We'll get you, Moff Gideon.
No one can find Moff Gideon.
Saber. And she's like, no, and she's like, yeah, we can. We just went to a terminal and
we've got his coordinates.
He's like, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, son of a bitch, I'm in.
I do just enjoy the fact that he tries to
we missed the beginning of this episode, actually. God, we're terrible. The beginning.
We're all over the place with this.
Where they're taking out, they EMP the Imperial shuttle.
Oh yeah, the Camino clone
those
engineer.
Two guys who, well, I think we both quite enjoyed. I
wasn't too fond of them.
His voice
is
so
weird.
like, Nazi.
Yeah, completely.
You know who this is.
Yeah.
Don't know what the fuck I was doing there, but like,
Sean Connery.
This man is a
rest in peace.
I do not know who this
What is
person is. It's
So
like,
yeah, he's like, I've taken.
this is not one of your labs. You're like, okay.
Chill, mate.
You know, this is the cloning man.
Yeah. High-ranking target
His
of
logic
the
was
New
kind of out
Republic.
of whack there, I think. Where it's like, I'm gonna kill this man. You guys are gonna get the blame, and we'll all die. And ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you bitch. I know you teardrop because you're older on.
I was
there.
when it blew up. Which I didn't mind. I quite like the fact
do
that
like
they
it. I
address
liked it.
the whole idea. We've mentioned this before.
He felt
and
like an.
it's always one of those inner jokes where the Death Star, there must have been millions of troopers and people
Yeah.
killed there. And lo and behold, they mention that
he's
in
like,
this.
oh yeah,
twice.
Millions died, and it's like, well, yeah, but billions
Yeah, I've
probably
killed,
died
yeah,
on that
planets.
one planet. But
Plus your
I like
wars.
him because I feel like he was a random one-off Empire character who had a bit more agency than others have had.
Yeah. He had something
Yeah,
to
I
say.
guess so. It just felt, I don't know, something
And
felt
then-
tacky about
And
it.
there was that
it's-
sweet
it's-
shot of
it's-
Slave One going across their
Oh, yeah, just
their
stopping them.
cockpit screen. I was, oh,
And yeah,
Lovely.
then they, it sets up the premise that they have the cloning guy from the first season and this season who seems a bit like he only cares for the science, maybe isn't.
what the fuck happened to
Evil.
him? Because he's there at the start.
guess they
He
leave
helps
him on the
them
ship,
plan. Maybe
they
he's
put
with
him on the
Boba on
planet.
Slave One, but his character just disappears.
Yeah, I guess he's there as a story device to tell them what they're running into. Yeah,
And then that's
I
it.
don't know.
He's
he
just
on the
gone.
ship?
How much he
when
gets
they-
left
I don't
on
know.
Slave One?
Yeah,
'Cause
but then
let's face it, the other guys are on the
yeah,
Imperial
completely.
transport ship, so
And then there's Slave One disappears off after.
so he's with Boba.
But
Tied
then we
up
see
in the back.
something.
Or maybe they killed him and injected him into space.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And that was just too gruesome to show him
Yeah.
for a good guy.
Maybe
to-
he's gonna pop up in
Anyway.
season 3.
He was stripped naked and shoved out on Tatooine, obviously,
Yeah.
because that's where everyone is.
Frozen in carbonite.
And, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But, yeah, he sets up the whole thing of, like, there are dark troopers here, you gotta get to them.
They have to
Moff's
power
here,
up. You have a time
Grogu's here
limit.
in this thing, you gotta get there. So, it sets
I've
up
got
the
a
whole
blueprint
premise.
to the whole ship, and I can tell you where everyone is.
I'm this very high upper ranking thing that no one seems to care has been kidnapped.
Yeah.
But
I guess.
Okay.
the plan is set in motion. It's quite cool.
We're ripping it
Seeing,
apart.
I know. We actually enjoyed this. Oh my god, we just point out flaws.
Like,
I
I have
think
some problem.
blame it on the
I want
sequels.
to
Makes
like
us cynical. We've talked about
Mandalorian,
this.
But, and I do like Mandalorian, I'm not saying I don't. It's just, there are these things which, once you look at them, do seem to suddenly
They
start
shake your
dropping apart. And as we said, like, the sequels, I don't want to keep bringing it up, even though I do.
We don't have enough time to talk about the sequels anymore.
But they've changed to Star Wars and not for the better to me. And it's like, because even ultimately, as we'll get to the end of this, it taints.
And we
what's
will get to the end.
happened.
Just
It's
time.
all just tainted. It's tainted.
It is
The
tainted.
sequels just.
But we get a cool shot going in.
Yeah, chase scene.
They're
That's good,
faking
that's
a chase scene, and it feels like dope.
The best
to
scene
watch,
is
and
when
they're
the
like,
TIE
"Go
fighters are
deploy the TIE
deployed.
fighters."
Oh,
That's cool
that was
when
so
you
good.
get
They
to see,
looked
like-
so good. That really was exciting. The way they kind of line up and shoot out the
Yeah.
front, and you get to see the cockpit. And it was very Battlestar Galactica as well to me, where the Vipers get lined up and shoot out of the.
Yeah.
Just like
The runway
Katie
shoot.
Sackhoff.
It was brilliant. Oh my god, yeah. But the Imperial shuttle coming
they're
in,
like, "I gotta
being
go."
chased, and the little
Yeah,
fight
they're
scene.
like, no, don't do it.
Don't come
I'm
into
just
day
coming in.
2. I gotta come
Yeah,
in.
we
and
got to.
There's another bay if you have to. No, I'm gonna come in this one to block off the things. Like that all makes sense. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
and to be fair, they do a great landing. I was expecting him to maybe crash into the TIE fighter that was in there ready to
Blow up
launch.
and everyone die fighting.
But no, she comes in nice and smooth
Lands it.
to a sort of extent and lands it. And then Boba just swivels those guns, pew pew, fucking gets out.
Flies
of there.
out.
Like, damn, Boba's a
Immediately,
badass.
like,
drops another
Suspicious.
charge
Nice.
for fun. Pew, 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 pew.
it's a disturbance.
And then just fucking shoots off out of there.
Yeah. And we get some cool fighting as like
It's cool visuals.
power
the ramp,
team coming
yeah,
out and they're just like pow, pow,
Smoke.
pow, 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 pow,
Girl power.
smacking that.
kicking ass. And they are awesome.
I like the little across the bridge scene where the Mandalorians just jump off, fly off. And
I was
they
like,
take it out, and then they're just like.
And it's like, pow.
And then they come back, shoot. We also see the
Stormtrooper fall
through the force field.
And just
into space. Like, damn, that guy's gone.
Just like drop down.
But then Bo-Katan and Koska come up either side, crossfire, shoot down. It was just such cool. It just shows that they have tactics for these situations.
The
and it just
Mandalorian
works.
action is some of the best from.
Yeah, it's got
because that jetpack dynamic really ups
even the
the
bar
scale
fight
for it.
when you get to see them like just throwing off, using dual pistols, using the jetpacks and stuff that's some of the best. Just
action of all Star Wars actions for sure.
Choreography in general,
definitely.
However, one bit I thought was kind of hilarious and stupid was Fennec like full on dodges a laser blast by
it's those cybernetic.
She trained under Han Solo in the revised New Hope where he just
dodges.
Shoot and dodge at the same time.
Not like we've set up the whole premise of Jedi being special because their reflexes are so fast to wield the lightsaber that they can actually deflect lasers.
But they're special human beings who can also dodge like
cyborg humans, just like
yeah.
But it's great seeing
maneuvers. I'm listing lazily to the left.
And they work their way through the ship, taking out any sort of obstacles that the Mandalorian might come across.
Like Cara comes with weapon malfunction.
He comes, they're a distraction.
He's got to get to the Dark Trooper chamber.
Yeah.
Which shock. Whole Mandalorian gets there a little bit too late to the Dark Troopers, and
one of them gets out.
One of them's out.
And they have a fight. And we're shown the Terminator bots. Yeah, we're shown the powering, thrown in the foreshadowing when he releases the others out.
Yeah, he's getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah,
while the others just bang on that door.
I guess. Well, I mean, it's just proof of how strong Beskar is because he.
Actually, I like that bit where they're like punching his head in.
Yeah, his head is just like
denting the ship rather than
he sets the thing on fire. I'm like, is it made of Beskar as well?
My God, his
I
neck.
thought they were hinting at the Beskar, them being made of Beskar.
His neck must have killed.
Yeah, it must have caved afterwards.
Insane. But also, it showed his skill. I say his skill. It was good to see him use the Beskar spear as well to finish that bot off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like that it seems to be constant throughout. He has the resilience,
to keep going.
Exactly.
And the resourcefulness to sort of reach out, use his environment.
Use his Beskar spear.
Razakul would say.
But he beheads the thing, and that kills it, and it's like, okay. I thought
no Grievous bodyguards here.
Yeah, no
multiple sensors for them to carry on. They ain't as deadly.
Yeah.
But it's fine. They get blasted into space. Bit of shit. The rest of them.
I gotta go get
what's going to happen next.
Now.
Yeah. And whilst this is happening, the crew of Bo-Katan, Cara, Fennec, Koska,
the kill team.
The kill team
shoot out the bridge.
Have made their way through to the main deck or whatever you call it, and that's a cool scene. I like seeing them go through.
Yeah.
I do like
when they're on the bridge and they.
It was
jump
nice.
off
They're waiting in the elevator and just sort of bang blast as soon as those doors open. She's there, heavy rifle. I really like the over the top grip and just down that corridor, wrecking them,
taking everyone out.
It was so cool.
Those murderous savages.
Yeah, evil.
Then they get there and find Moff Gideon's not there. Bo-Katan fucking panics. Like, where is he?
Where could he be?
Nice little reveal. He's there with the child. Dark saber in hand.
I like seeing Mandalorian again, kind of Inglourious Basterds, where he just comes up to the two guards. He stabs one. And he just full on chokes the other one, breaks his neck.
Close up of his stormtrooper's feet just to show how much he's lifted the guy off the ground to.
It's this is just an average human in here.
I love the child.
Daily job.
In handcuffs as well. Just there, just kind of hands
up. I watched
the
episode 3 times. Every time that door opened and you just saw Grogu in the handcuffs, I chuckled because it's just
it's so cute.
Yeah, it's adorable little.
And you got the cool dark saber.
Yeah,
a little bit of
Moff Gideon.
And it's like, I'm definitely trustworthy. It's like, you're not trustworthy.
Yeah. They do an interesting.
You got what you want, I've got what I want. Let's just walk away from this. We can make an agreement here, arrangement. And you think, oh, wow, okay, I wasn't seeing that. Lo and behold.
That I thought
Backstab.
there was, because I thought that was interesting. I was like, okay, I guess this will carry on the whole like element. Like it keeps the story going. I thought if it was like, okay, he semi betrays Bo-Katan if he lets it really
The child
reveals
go,
the
yeah.
like priorities. If he keeps only Grogu, that's what he's in it
Yeah.
for. He lets Moff Gideon go, vice versa.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon's
Yeah,
smart enough
season
to
3,
realise
what's gonna
it's all
happen
lost. But then, no, surprise, surprise, he lights up the dark saber and he attacks
From behind.
his full-on Beskar armor.
Which is stupid because it's like I'm pretty certain Moff Gideon knows that Beskar can't be.
You would have thought so.
Yeah,
through
after
by,
the Empire
saber, so-
contained all of it for however many years since Siege of
Yeah.
Mandalore.
When we get
But yeah,
that
that's a cool
fight scene. Yeah, it's a
between-
nice duel. I like the fact that this time you see, because the blade's constantly being pressed down, whereas beforehand it was used against Ahsoka. It's quite light touches, nice fluid combat. In this, it was a lot more raw, and both of them don't know how to wield the weapon. Like Moff Gideon's
Really
not a
brings that
fucking
smack down.
Jedi; he doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. And the Beskar spear is fairly new, and you see them collide, and that Beskar just heating up in the spots as they're trying to force. That was a nice little detail.
I
I
also
really enjoyed.
do just love the aesthetic of Gideon, like
Yeah.
particularly like just in his black armor,
His cape.
wearing his cape with the dark saber. It's just like
Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Yeah, he's not a trained Jedi or a Sith. He's just a guy with a saber.
Yeah. I want to know
How
if
he
his.
got it, I don't
Well,
know.
I'm hoping there'll be a backstory there where actually he's one of the guys that led the Empire against Mandalore, and he won it in combat. That's what it's got to be. Because surprise, we find out that he's actually tricked
Or did he
Mandalorian
come back?
Into
defeating him in combat. So Bo-Katan can't actually have the saber, which is what she's after. And Mandalore
that's the
doesn't
thing.
care.
Was he planning to lose just so?
I don't think he
I don't think he was planning to lose,
I
but-
Or
think
was it just like, well, if I
works
fight
in his
you,
favour.
Yeah, I think he knew, despite what would happen, it would work in his favour.
Anyway,
like
the
you
fight's
said.
the fight's over relatively quickly. It's a good fight, it's a good scene. But yeah, he expelliarmuses him, he completely disarms him, and the next
Takes
scene
him
is
alive.
there you back on the bridge, and he's like, "Oh, you're taking me in alive? Interesting, because Cara Dune wants him alive."
Yeah.
But also, he knows that he obviously doesn't know about the darksaber. I feel because
Yeah, he doesn't
he's
know
taken
how in
that
Mandalorian
that
lore
works.
rule.
So it's like, this is going to be interesting because you're saving me, but you've got
Which
the
is also interesting
darksaber.
because you'd think that'd be a myth amongst the Death
Death
Watch, particularly
Yeah.
having that been
But
Bo-Katan's like.
Again, that's what they address, don't they? They know it's a myth. The power isn't actually in the blade. The power's in the story.
Yeah.
No,
And that
I'm
is the
saying-
line.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Mandalorian
Mandalorian
Din
being
Djarin.
raised in the Death
Oh,
Watch,
Death
which
Watch,
was
yeah.
particularly Bo-Katan's
Previous
group, he would have maybe heard the story of the Darksaber.
Yeah.
And therefore know the importance and
But then,
right.
if they're
Which
such a
ultimately
fanatic
is
segment, they
also-
could have just been. They're obviously more
I mean, there's
fanatic
plenty
version
of time
because again.
between to say there was
Yeah.
a break off.
But earlier
Yeah.
Clone Wars episodes, etc. If you go, you see the Death Watch. They're quite happy taking their helmets off.
Yeah.
So again, this has got to be after Mandalore. The Watch has become more of a fanatic
But not only
state.
that,
Yeah.
Sabine
Yeah.
gives the saber.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's,
yeah,
that's
two
the thing that
Bo-Katan
then
modes,
becomes
Mhm.
questionable again because these are both canonical recent events, and in Rebels you see Katan just fully accepts Sabine, who's won the saber,
Yeah.
just yield and give it to her. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I want to lead our people and I'm best. And then in this one,
Oh yeah,
okay,
that's true.
we don't know how she's lost the saber. If it was just stolen, I can't imagine.
Should let it out of
No.
her sight.
There is the rumor that maybe it is because she lost it in a battle that to just gain it again without becomes questionable. We'll have to see whether it happens. But again, raising questions where it's like we've previously known. Okay, it's not live action, which they seem to praise and hold in high regard, which I think is a mistake. But it's like, we know that she would just accept it.
Yeah.
But
Because
now,
they've already established that.
So
but
unless
then
it's a
again,
matter
it
of
could be
pride,
just
honour
a
or
matter of
something.
pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked it as a narrative device because all of a sudden it's adding tension to these two characters that
I
are
liked
allies.
Moff Gideon in that situation.
Yeah.
It's
he,
just
he,
a
And he
shame it
covers that little
in defeat.
blaster with his cape. He knows what's going on. He's definitely a
Yeah.
veteran of war, and it's not like he's been in this position before. It feels
And then
Very
Shakara
grounded.
reveal What's that? We're being boarded again.
By
How many life forms? There are no life forms.
Wait, they didn't fly up to the windows of the bridge and think the better way would be to smack out the
They're
thing
robots.
causing
They
a
have
vacuum.
no idea. They're just programmed to go.
Even though the human element was the mistaken design,
That's
as
my
mentioned earlier.
problem with this. So yeah, it's just with Dark Troopers, it's just frustrating in the fact that one, droids have been around for some time, they've been used in a military capacity, and these guys are meant to be the best, and yet they're not thinking, it seems. They're dumb, they don't create firing lines or anything. It's just stupid in my opinion.
En masse into
programming.
that under hangar.
I mean, even to the point where when they try to break in,
All they
to
do
the
is
thing,
just punch.
they're like, close
I
the
also-
blast doors. Great. But then they're just like punching.
I didn't expect they were
expected-
just going to punch the door. And the fact that there's only 2 of them punching the door and they almost get through
Whereas
power
earlier,
levels again.
yeah,
It's like,
and it's blast doors are down as well. Whereas earlier there was just doors with glass,
With glass.
and 2 of them were punching in.
like,
It took them forever.
their cargo bay, whatever, resisted. But it's a ship, all doors are supposed to resist and shut up
Vacuum of
space. But yeah, it seems... I thought maybe when they first pulled up, I thought they'd have, like, we discussed earlier, maybe a mini
dark
saber.
Yeah.
At least like a
some sort of
concentrated
cutter.
flamethrower that's going to come through like Qui-Gon Jinn style. And then when they started punching, I was like, okay, maybe, all right. I thought they were going to like punch down to like their nubs or something, just like bust,
And then you have
like,
the other
break
robots
them.
stand
exactly.
forwards.
And it
but
makes
then
sense.
again-
They're all standing in a line, waiting until it's their turn to punch their way through the door until the last couple arrive. But it seems like only 2 of them pretty much almost break through, and we're like, oh shit, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then alarm
X-Wing.
bells, X-Wing just gliding.
Glides in.
Like, it's not the most dramatic
reveals,
entrance.
yeah.
No.
But
Just
yeah,
watching
it's
on that
like, you see the
CCTV
X-Wing,
screen.
and it's like, who's that? I feel like I know who it is, but who is it? And they come into the brig or wherever they enter.
It wasn't necessarily
Side.
surprising. Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, it's going to be...
Yeah,
X-Wing
it's
was an obvious
straight away.
giveaway.
You knew it was going to be a Jedi turning up.
Well, yeah, but like...
Yeah,
Yeah,
Grogu
the
gives that
X-wing.
away.
Yeah,
Reveal.
but the X-wing was.
He didn't
too
need to be
heavy-handed.
flying his X-Wing,
No.
Yeah.
basically. But it could have, that could have been the red herring. It could have been someone we
Completely
don't know,
different,
or
yeah.
someone
Yeah.
else.
Exactly. I
But
was
it wasn't
hoping
red herring.
because again, straight away, as soon as you saw it was a Jedi, it's through the CCTV screen.
Yeah.
So it's all
Is
black and
Ahsoka
white. You
back?
can't see whose lightsaber it is. They're hooded. You're like, oh my god,
Ezra.
what's going to happen? Who is this?
Cocoon's
I
alive?
was getting excited because I
That's
thought
the
it might
window.
be Ezra Bridges from Rebels, and older Ezra Bridges coming through,
Yeah.
or some other Jedi being revealed, and then lo and behold, green lightsaber.
Well,
you see the hilt.
Here's the thing. He cuts through the robots. Is a he. He cuts through all the dark troopers super easily, which disappointed me slightly as well
Power
because I
levels.
thought the assumption was that their armor, like their exterior armor, would be made of Beskar.
Yeah,
'cause
it
they're
seemed
so
like
much.
they maybe suggested. that would
Hence
be
why
the
they're so
case.
powerful. They can deflect blaster shots. And
Yeah.
we've seen robots get shot previously and they die.
The only one that was taken
So-
out was taken out by a Beskar spear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it had to go inside the circuit.
The inner workings, yeah, underneath the armour.
So I was like, but they get carp easily, so that just comes
Yeah,
back
he
to
just
myself.
glides through like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a good fight scene.
It's cool in
yeah.
its own way because it's cool to see like the Luke you kind of always wanted to see. I feel like I don't know. It was handled weirdly.
Yeah, reveal it is Luke.
Well, I feel like we pretty much
Yeah.
Yeah,
already.
you obviously green lightsaber hilt.
Spoiler,
yeah.
it was Luke. And yeah, the reveal was weird because it's like he comes in the X-wing, and you're like, okay, maybe it is Luke. Like we said, maybe it's a red herring. But then you see a hooded figure, and it's like, okay. And then they're cutting through, it's like, oh, you see it through a screen. But then they cut to black glove, Luke's lightsaber, green.
Yeah.
Like
And it's straight
okay,
away.
Okay, black glove, green green saber
Yeah.
could have been
You're
other
watching
characters,
the entire time going,
but
maybe
they,
it's a
they
red herring.
show
Maybe
pretty
it's a red herring.
clearly his Return of the Jedi saber.
Yeah.
So it is,
And
at
outfit.
that point, that's the reveal to anyone who knows Star Wars.
Yes, because he's
That's Luke. So it's like
Return of
weird,
Jedi outfit for sure.
because-
It's how he looks when he turns up to Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
This is exactly.
Yeah. So it's like it's a soft reveal.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It was weird, but it is cool because once you know he's then cutting through, but then it's like, oh, these big bads aren't so bad.
Yeah.
He gets all the way through. He slices and dices.
Yeah. And we didn't even get to see the main cast guys in
Reacting.
the bridge having a fight with these
One
things that just
one of my main
through.
problems with it was the fact that, okay, it's cool, Luke's back, he's fighting him, he's taking him out easily. Alright, we expect him to be a cool, sick-ass Jedi now, and we're getting to see that. However, it would have possibly been better had the ones who were punching their way through the blast doors turned around to go face Luke. And then when that happened, the rest in the bridge were like, well, we're not going to sit around. I've got the dark saber, and we've got a Beskar spear. At least two of us could come out and start taking them from the back. And even if they only took out one together or two, it's like, because also we now see lightsabers.
And you can also build
lightsabers
into that the
just
sort of,
slice them up. So
you got a dark saber right there.
lightsaber. Okay, you're not a Jedi, but you've probably got enough in you to... if you
cut them,
especially Mando and I guess Bo-Katan with their Beskar armor, it would have been cool if there was just that temporal pincer movement.
They're not so helpless. They don't need rescuing.
They're not just
they take
waiting
the
around.
initiative.
And in that moment, you can have a sort of tension between Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian in the fact that he's got his back to her, and she wants the saber. He's using the saber.
Exactly. Presuming he gives her the spear, it's like, back to her. She looks at the spear. She looks at him and his back. He's fighting a troop. You could just kill him.
Yeah.
Get the saber. He's defeated in combat. Don't know why she's not accepting the thing being yielded, like we talked about. I think.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Maybe we missed that in this.
Regardless, it doesn't.
It was missing again. It was lacking. It was lackluster.
Yeah, and it misses the opportunity because I don't know. The CGI for Luke's face really took it out for me.
The ultimate reveal was poor CGI.
It's no Darth Vader Rogue One reveal, that's for sure. It was cool, but it's not quite how we see it because of the CGI face.
Well, it is funny because it is like a good juxtaposition
to his father Rogue One's corridor scene, definitely. But it just took it out for me, and
100%.
Yeah, what I wanted and thought would happen is what they'd have is Sebastian Stan, because I know people have done sort of conceptual work.
Prime opportunity to recast a younger Luke Skywalker. That's the opportunity missed there.
Because you can't go forwards and do like slightly older but younger Luke going through his journeys with a constantly CGI Luke. It's not going to flow. No one wants it. You've already recast Han Solo as this guy. You've already recast Lando. Just go with
recast
it.
Luke.
Go with Luke.
Yeah. They've made that conscious choice already to canonically recast older actors as their younger selves. Like, Alden Eldritch and Donald Glover have been recast in these roles we've just talked about. Even if it's not Sebastian Stan, there would have been ultimately been, I think, a better choice. The reason Sebastian Stan would have been great is, one, obviously, pull up any picture of the side by side. When you say it, I don't immediately think it.
But someone photoshopped it.
Once you know the pictures, you're like, shit, actually, he does look it. Two, the reason it's perfect, he's already Disney property. He's working on a Disney TV show, Winter Soldier and the Falcon.
And he's expressed interest.
Contracts, etc. else, you can drag that shit right in. And it's like, it would have been a great, oh, fuck, and okay, for the people who are stupid, maybe it would have to been like, I'm Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm a Jedi.
Because,
they
even ask if he's a Jedi. You a Jedi? Yes.
Yeah, I'm Luke
no
fucking
shit.
Skywalker.
Holding a saber.
Go save the universe. But
Galaxy.
Where the fuck is Boba Fett, man? That's why I've come here.
Yeah.
Someone also pointed out maybe the reason they decided Boba Fett just hyperspaces off is because they didn't want to deal with that intertwining. Because I was always like, I guess it makes sense that Boba Fett left, but also maybe not. He could have been out there shooting dark troopers.
Yeah, he's got to be picking them up at some point, surely.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted the light speed cruiser, didn't they?
We'll get into the X-Wing.
And it's a painfully... That's the worst recreation Star Wars face.
Yeah.
Everyone takes the piss out of
Leia and Moff Tarkin.
Moff Tarkin's actually really quite good because I rewatched Rogue One recently and I'm like, that's
as far as we are at this point, that is
this was the worst one. And again, I don't understand why they lean into the deep fake stuff,
Maybe
because
that
there's
was
so
deep
much
fake. I don't know. That was
things
bad.
on YouTube where you see the comparisons, and they're so fucking good.
Yeah.
I just
They
it just was
it
it
looked
was flat.
flat and
It looked like
They messed it.
someone projecting a face onto another face. It just didn't really work.
Which obviously ultimately is what they're doing.
And then again, they show R2D2, and but
funnily enough,
I wasn't sure if he was CG at times.
I think
Sometimes
he
he
was
looked
CG,
real, and
yeah.
then other times he looked
I think
CG,
he was
and I just thought that was a
completely CG.
weird thing to do. And ultimately,
I wonder if they
that's-
CG'd in a mini Kenny Baker inside
maybe.
it.
Ow, damn.
Rest
Too
in
soon?
peace.
But that's where the episode ultimately fell flat for me,
It's been
Yeah.
flawless.
because there was nowhere else for it to go. Grogu's taken.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is also on the point of his face being like pretty bad. When you see him going through, the fact that they had to, like, without recasting it, it's so painfully obvious that they have to hide it. So it's like he's going through with his hood up, and it's like, oh, we see his mouth, but the rest, it looked painfully bad that
They covered
it's
up
just
so much to do a
they're
reveal.
having to cover it up.
Yeah, completely.
But yeah, as you said, he now has
Yeah.
Grogu.
Yeah,
There's
he's
a
taking
sweet
Grogu,
moment
and that's cute. The whole touching it,
Yeah.
the separation of father and son, and
Touching
you know
it.
they're going. I'm going. Yeah, he takes the helmet off and the touch of the face, and it's very cute. But then I was left going, what's
Where
going to
do we
happen
go?
now? Because it literally leaves with that.
Yeah.
Start credits, and we're left on the bridge. There's no. What's going to happen
Yeah.
next?
This is where
It
it
just
then
died.
coincides
It
with
just
the
completely-
sequel trilogy and the problems there of being like, one, we know what happens to Luke, the Jedi Temple,
Oh,
and so forth.
Don't even get me started.
So what the fuck's going on there? Two, the entire Mandalorian series is, as we mentioned previously, like wolf and cub. The
Yeah.
idea of a father and a child, a samurai, and a
Cub.
Yeah.
cub, which was the Mandalorian and Grogu. But now Grogu's been taken away. Where does this leave us with the
Yeah.
Mandalorian?
And he doesn't even set off anywhere. They're just left there on the bridge, and that's it.
Wave a goodbye.
Yeah.
Massive misstep for me is what we're all trying to get here is once you knew that title was called Rescue, I knew we were fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you take, the baby in Tragedy, episode 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the
Episode
thing, not
6.
Episode 6.
Episode 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's
Yeah.
8 episodes a season.
Yes. My bad. So you take it in episode 6, Tragedy, and it's like, once you know Tragedy, you assume that was happening, that's fine. But I thought, especially with the fact we discussed those 2 episodes don't feel, especially episode 7, penultimate, and now you have the ultimate episode, and that's resolved. And it feels like the entire series is resolved, because Moff Gideon's no longer a threat. Admiral Thrawn is probably going to be in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
And now
Grogu now has his master.
yeah, exactly. So it
Everything's
should have
resolved.
been,
But then-
they failed to get him.
Yeah.
What is DM count? Don't know.
Yeah,
But
what's that all
at the same
feeding
time,
into?
it's
There's
like,
been-
it doesn't
and
feel
again-
like I need to know now.
Dark,
because it feels
Dark
the end of the
Troopers are
series.
done. They were all
And
destroyed.
Moff Gideon's already said, I've got all the blood that I need. Like,
And-
so what's happening with that now? There's no... Because the end credit scene, for some reason, it felt very random to me, and is what ultimately robbed that final episode again, is Boba goes to Jabba's palace, shoots it up, and takes the throne.
Shoots up their chips.
Yeah.
Why does Boba have to go back to Tatooine?
Again.
Again,
Why does he want
why
the
are we
throne?
there? Why this obsession with
Why is
Tatooine
it
within
Bib
the Star Wars galaxy?
Fortuna
Yeah,
on it who's gotten fat, which is funny.
and it was good
also,
to
but
see.
it's stupid as hell because, like, okay, if you'd only watched the original trilogy, maybe this makes sense to you. It works, which is what they're getting at. If you've seen the Clone Wars, anything else outside the lore, even I believe in the Phantom Menace, you see
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, the
Huts are established as a family.
A
It
crime
wasn't-
syndicate
it wasn't
of the
Jabba
Outer Rim.
Hutt. They were so big that there is a language which is the main language of Tatooine named after them, the Huttese. You
Yeah.
know?
And the Clone Wars animated series film, rescuing Jabba's son,
Son.
which
So
is
it's
what
like-
introduced
And you see
Ahsoka
other-
in the first place.
I can only imagine they were afraid that people,
Wouldn't understand.
they They did the same mistake they do with the sequels, where they we've got a big audience now, and not all of them understand Star Wars, but they will probably know the original trilogy. So let's put this recognizable character in, rather than putting in the one that makes sense, which would be a fat Jabba lookalike.
With a different colour
but people would think he's Jabba, and it's like, yeah, just change colour, put tiger stripes, whatever the fuck else, and they're like, that wouldn't have made enough sense. People wouldn't have realised. It's like, this is an after credits scene.
But why is Boba back? Boba's a self-serving bounty hunter.
I got out of the contract. Pit. I was chilling for 5 years, didn't get my armor back, didn't take over a crime syndicate.
All on Tatooine.
Only waited. Yeah, he was on Tatooine this entire time.
Now I've got my armor, I can go to Jabba's palace and take that seat, that throne, power. Yeah. And again, Rise of Skywalker ended on Tatooine. Now the Mandalorians ending on Tatooine.
Was Boba there at the end of Rise of Skywalker?
And they introduced that there's potentially the third series is going to be the Book of Boba.
This is what we're getting. A Rey and Boba Fett series. It's been set up.
It's set up.
Her life. Yeah. That's the other thing. The people, the rumours are, or the belief is, or the potential is the idea I maybe had, was that Book of Boba Fett is that Mandalorian season 3. Some people believe apparently Pedro Pascal's stunt double came out and said...
recently.
Yeah, recently he's come out and been like, no, there's season 3, he's definitely back. But it's like... Book of Boba Fett was not announced as a show. Mandalorian was still up there. So is it going to be Mandalorian Chapter 3, Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
And the Mandalorian Din Djarin
sort of like
reappears in as a cameo for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It was a weird...
And it's going to be I think it's going to be like a little intermission section before they then carry on the main arc of the Mandalorian. Possibly.
Maybe just to let Grogu age up.
Yeah.
But apparently maybe it's not. But maybe Boba Fett's its own show.
Yeah.
Mandalorian's a show. Maybe it's a literal book. Maybe it's not a show.
It just feels like, compared to season 2, it's left us in a season 1, should I say? It's left us in a really weird place where we don't know what's going forwards in regards to the series, or is this the end?
Yeah.
Was that? Is this
the Mandalorian chapter closed, and now we're going to focus on the other properties?
And it's still all somehow tainted by the sequel trilogy.
Well, it is.
Because...
And if you don't understand what we're getting there, we know that Luke fails the Jedi temple.
As a teacher in general.
And his teaching training's out the window. The Jedi order that he was setting up is in ruins. Pupils have betrayed and gone to the dark side, Kylo, which all again gets a bit muddy down the sequel line.
It's also only 30 years from now, if that. So Grogu's only at 80. Most 80, 90, and that's at a push.
Yeah.
So is he still a child? Was he killed by Kylo? Did he join Kylo as an evil slaughterer? There's been hints throughout this series. He doesn't like to share blue macarons.
Yeah. And he's happy to choke out stormtroopers.
And Cara Dune.
Yeah.
But I would choke her.
So again, you this character and this arc that you think, this excitement you could get over the fact that the child is now with Luke and is going to becoming a Jedi Master or a Knight, etc. Straight away, that's robbed by the fact that the sequels have set up, but that's all going to be a massive failure anyway. And it's just a massive misstep for...
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
It all feels bittersweet.
And I think that's why we probably come across quite cynical when we're talking about the episodes. Because we are enjoying... We love The Mandalorian. It all looks great. There's some, obviously, with any show, episodes that are great, others that kind of fall a bit flat.
Yeah, we've mentioned our issues.
And but it's just...
We've gone to the end of season 2, and some things haven't been resolved. Some things have been resolved to a point where it feels final or finite.
Yeah,
and we're left still stuck going, where do we go? And we're troubled by the fact that we know the sequels exist and everything, and what's going to be coming out next.
Yeah, what their story is and what the future of the galaxy is going to look like.
Is Acolyte about Grogu being raised by Thingy?
That'd be cool. That could work.
Yeah. No, it's definitely Starkiller.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sam Witwer.
Could Sam Witwer... He could have been the fucking Jedi that got off of
oh my
X-Wing.
God, that would have been so good, actually, now you've said that.
There's so many...
And he's such a big Star Wars fan as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, like, okay, maybe we all expected it would be Luke or someone, but this is the question: is that just too much fan service?
Yeah.
If it was a new character or a Legends character like Starkiller or even Ezra, that at least leaves you going like, okay, there's something here that maybe season 3 could be about.
It's like subverted fan service there, because it's pulling on information and stuff that fans know from the deeper lore of Star Wars. At the moment, they're just constantly doing surface fan service that appeals to the general public.
Katan from Dark Forces video game, and that's what the Dark Troopers were hinting at the whole time.
But like that's the thing. I saw someone talk about it, is the fact that it's like, why have it come back to the sort of Skywalker saga, this sort of idea of like, oh, a Skywalker, Luke has to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Because everything that we've had with The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 is built around this idea of an extra universe or galaxy happening without their involvement so closely. Yeah, what they've done impacts it, because obviously the fall of the Empire is what this is all based in. But, you know, do you have to bring Luke in?
Yeah.
Does this have to be a thing? You're already pushing it so far with Ahsoka as such, and Boba and all these sort of things. You know, pushing it that extra bit further with that big name to the galaxy.
And his R2 with him as well. It just became that end bit just was fan service.
And again, if they hadn't announced the TV show Ahsoka and others, I would have assumed that maybe the next season would be, or like if Ahsoka joined them at the final battle, like we'd mentioned, I thought maybe the next season would be them and going after Thrawn instead of
another team
and all this like build up, and she'd be more of a, you know, a sort of main character in this series. And then once everyone was like, man, we fucking love this, we want this show, rather than like, because, you know, that just means before the episode even came out, they planned that she was going to be so popular that she demanded her own show.
Well, this is the thing, it's obviously very much pre-planned. Mark Hamill, and it was great to see, he voiced the character of Luke. Perfect. He must have loved, and you can tell he loved, because he tweeted it the same day going, seen anything good on TV? And he must have been proud to see that iteration of Luke Skywalker realised on the screen, and people loved it. Like, I think there was millions of responses and retweets, and people replied to that, and I loved that. And it also came out that he's been sitting on this secret for a year, which is crazy. It's not like a last minute thing. It was planned out, and that's great, because Mando has done a great job of keeping those secrets. The same with Koska not turning up, and yet she does. So they're doing.
I wouldn't put that on the same level.
It's not on the same level, but I'm saying they've been able to keep a tight web on this information, which is wonderful. It's all been very secretive, and that's almost the key to what Mando was doing. That they weren't telling, they were showing little bits. They were leading you to make your own ideas of what's going to happen, instead of telling you this is it, which is where ultimately the following Star Wars films have failed on. They have to tell you the plot points. But then Mandalorian fell to that. It started off with the show, don't tell, and then all of a sudden, as soon as it got popular, they were telling sort of story points and characters and the fan service bits.
This is a Dark Trooper,
and
this is a Phase 3 Dark
exactly.
Trooper.
This is the Dark Sabre, and some of that needs to be explained, because general public aren't going to get it. But then they went really heavy with it.
It only ever needs to be explained in the context of the story.
Yeah, completely.
Which a lot of things, not just Star Wars and Disney, fail at. It's disappointing that it seems to have come to this point now, already so early on, that they've latched onto the success of this, and they've gone like, okay, this is what everyone wants. Pump more of that out. Have more of this. And as we left, we're feeling a bit disappointed, empty and hollow, because it's like, okay, so this season, which seemed to be building up to him getting taken and us finding some answers, it just feels like it's been stripped of layers. Like, I don't feel like there are layers now as to what's going to find out happen next. It's like, he's been taken, oh, cool, great, cliffhanger. Next season is the fight to get back Grogu, and maybe Grogu's being trained, blah, blah, whatever else, being turned, yada, yada. Nope, he's taken in one episode. 2 episodes later, he's back. He's now off with training with Luke. We know how that was more likely going to go. What's Mando going to do? Who knows? He doesn't have a purpose. I guess the setup is he has the dark saber and Bo-Katan wants it. because she won't yield to it, and
Yeah.
they can't have a quick little scrap where he goes, hey, you're older than me, you're actually a more well-trained Mandalorian,
You can
just
easily
on
beat me.
principle, because you were in, whatever else.
The Manda Civil War and everything.
And all this
Death
stuff.
Watch before that.
You are definitely going to kick my ass. But no, it's gonna. I assume maybe if they're not doing the Book of Boba as Mandalorian, because also that means 2 Mandalorian shows. That's also the question there. I'm guessing antagonist is probably going to be
just foreshadowing
Bo-Katan.
they're coming out with a book, which is specifically
which would be an
Boba.
interesting actual tactic for a
marketing.
for like comic or a book or whatever. But yeah, doubt that's going to be the case.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, will Bo-Katan be the antagonist, and will it all be about Death Watch Mandalorian? We have no idea, because we were just left dead on this bridge.
Yeah.
How about we get some general feelings as to...
I think everyone's got our general feelings.
I feel bad because it feels like we've just been shit on it, and I liked it. I like the Mandalorian. It just, I don't know, it tapered off. This second half was disappointing, I'd say, and it's been bittersweet.
Yeah.
Completely. Star Wars very much for me lives on with a bit of hope with the Mandalorian, but what they accomplished at the end is a shallow victory, because it was gearing up to something that was quite unique and special, and then they just kept repeating, and the heavy-handedness of the fan service that came in, it just left me face palming, going, why have you done this? That it wasn't needed. The universe of Star Wars again feels a lot more smaller, because they're just focusing on the same characters, but everyone knows, and the same planets and locations. Whereas,
Where's Felucia?
What the prequels did so well is they introduced all these different Coruscants. What an awesome concept! Because again, behind that planet is the myth of what's the deeper layers to that planet. You can think of stories.
Jedi Temple, go there.
That could be under, the underground systems, crime syndicates there. Already, just straight away, there's a hint of something that could be more epic in storytelling.
13.
With this, and it's the same with Rogue One, Jeddah, etc. There's hints of history to those planets. If this, you don't get history to planets. You have a quick stop off, go on somewhere else, and then return back to somewhere you know.
It's just a shame, because beginning of season 2, we had the exploration a little bit of some new planets, because we saw the icy spider and we saw this water planet. So it's just, they were going down that route, but they've kind of moved away from that, and it started off strong. It still ended good, but it's just tainted still, and I think that's unfortunate in regards to everything.
Yeah.
It's interesting, because I haven't been able to catch up and see at this current time as we're recording the general feelings everyone's having. I know you were looking a little bit, and there seem to already be articles on people.
Yeah, it seems mixed.
Being disappointed. I think there would be mixed.
People are sort of disappointed, but happy, and
I get why in general, because obviously you were messaged by a big Star Wars fan being like, best episode ever, just before we even watched it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, cool. And we watched it, and I was like, that was good, but was it? And it's kind of that Force Awakens feeling almost.
I was literally just about to say that was our
I was in
reaction
denial at
from Force
first, and then I
Awakens.
turned around, I was like, nah, I didn't like that. I don't think that will happen with Mandalore. I do like the Mandalorian. We've been fortunate enough to see it on a bigger screen than you normally would,
and
which
it looks
really
great.
Enhances that cinematic feeling, which again is probably why the Robert Rodriguez episode felt so, out of place. And but yeah, I don't know. I guess we just gotta wait for.
We just got to see how it plays out.
See what
Season
happens,
3
wasn't
now.
Yeah.
But
What
yeah,
they're
it
gonna
feels
do
like
with all these
there were
other
things
shows.
set up and placed out there, and maybe they've fallen apart and whatever. I don't know. Ultimately, I think we've said this a million times now. They should have left it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. But I think their cliffhanger, they think, is Boba Fett taking Jabba's palace, which just has no context to the story of any of the events that have happened. You just, it's a cool end shot, but then you have the corny Fennec Shan just rock up and just
Shachka.
sit on the side of it,
Yeah.
and I just
When will she
what is
finish
that?
repaying her debt?
Yeah.
To
Why is she a thing now? That's the thing. Like again, we've covered it. It feels like they're just ramming her in there now because they're like, she's gonna
She's gonna appear in the Bad Batch. Yeah.
Batch.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We don't. It's not like the other character that we mentioned previously. His character's built upon with the episode of infiltrating the Imperial base. Her character hasn't really been built on, but she's been featured in it more, and I think that's a bit.
Yeah.
I think I've just realised what feels wrong is the fact that
He's got a revelation coming on.
Well,
You should see his face right now. It's lighting up. There's a light coming down on
I
him.
was trying to control the podcast movement, but it's the fact that before, like we mentioned with Cobb Vanth, like it was cool that they found this character and they added him into more like canonical lore, and it was like this multimedia. The same thing with Ahsoka. I feel like Disney are trying to, particularly with Fennec, have realised, people like characters who appear in Rebels and Clone Wars and then appear in live action. People liked seeing Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. People like knowing that Rosario Dawson, then ultimately seeing her as,
Ahsoka,
and all these like mixed things. And now they're like, yeah, that's what's going to make us money. Hey, Fennec, let's grab someone. Okay, we sort of left her open-ended with a mystery in the first season. So we're bringing her back, and she's in Bad Batch.
It's the way the sequels again.
Yeah.
They're not really building characters. They've just bought
Building
characters
products.
and selling you a product. It's a product character
Yeah,
where it's like there's nothing to
That
them
could be
really, and
yeah.
they're gonna slowly, surely flesh them out when they're like, oh, what do people want? Oh, we'll sell that to them.
Yeah, hearing you say that now, that does make complete sense. You can see it. You can see them. You can see the Disney evil minds and overlords there kind of coming together, going, you know what, this would be great. We do this, we do that. I think that's the secret sauce. I think that's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce. Oh, we don't know what's working, but one of these is we've got to hit true at some point. That this is the core of Star Wars, and it's constantly missing.
Can we start wrapping up?
Is there any final thoughts anyone wants to say? We all have covered that we think it's good.
Thing is,
but there's a disappointment, there's
No.
bittersweet.
There's not much.
We don't really have differing.
No,
we're all in the same boat.
It's hard. We all.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're siblings. You know everything together.
Yeah, we're all
But
in the same
think
mindset.
Ultimately, still better than the sequels.
Yeah.
Better than sequels, better than season one.
Definitely.
Maybe not the ending is
But
better.
it improved.
but,
It improved upon
it
season
has
one.
improved upon season one.
I mean, literally, as we said, like Siege and Believer are two of maybe my favourite episodes in both seasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to love here still, and I'm open to season 3 and anything else they do as long as it is good. It's just I feel like we're seeing cracks, and it's worrying, and we've been put on edge by how we feel the sequels have done us over a little bit, and we're not alone in that thought. So I think
Which is becoming more apparent.
I think that's why. But ultimately, if you like it, love it, whatever else, if you feel like that Star Wars is back alive, has reinvigorated your love, or you never, if you love anything else, or if you just hate this and you love something else, that's fine. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
You can
Dislike,
share,
comment.
subscribe. My guys, my gals, whatever else you got
Geeks
out
and
there.
geekettes.
Geeks and geeksette, just geeks or whatever. I don't know. Check us out at geekvault.co.uk. We're a website. We're a small company. We're family run, and you can buy Star Wars merch, Mandalorian merch. If you like that sort of thing. If you're this far into the podcast, we really appreciate that. Thank you. And I guess we're signing off.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Cheers.
Bye.
Boat divers.
Boat divers.
Boat divers out.
Diving off.
Bloop, bloop, bloop,
Rolling
bloop, bloop.
out. Bloop, 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 bloop. My tank is gone.
Oh God.